Let's get back to work. Yeah, I went to look for the CFL stuff to see, what's going on with that. I'm seeing. I think the Grey Cup is this weekend. I don't think they have a contract with ESPN anymore, so I don't think I'll be able to watch it. I think I'll be able to watch the highlights afterwards. That's the only thing I can do now as far as CFL football. For a couple of years, they had them on ESPN. They had the playoffs. They had them right before the NBA Summer League, and then I got pissed because they started doing the Summer League instead of the CFL, and I was like, I'd rather watch the CFL regular season than the Summer League. But whatever the market dictates. And then they had the playoffs on, and then the Grey Cup. Right? I remember when Henry Burris when the Red Blacks won. I remember watching that one. I had to watch another couple, with the stuff, and so. Watched a few, so I'd always watch them because it made me reminisce. Living about 3 years, we lived in Colville, and I used to watch CFL on CTV and CBC. Right, that was fun for me. An American, red-blooded American, having football in July was great. Right, and it was good football. They were good football players, and I knew a lot of the guys. Jim Germany from New Mexico State, Warren Moon from the University of Washington is one of my favorite college football players of all time. Just they had a lot of really good ball players. Larry Key, Jimmy Sykes, Joe Pow, lots of guys. Wow, and it was fun. They had a lot of Roy DeWalt. They had a lot of athletic black quarterbacks, Samoan quarterbacks that were athletic that they wouldn't play in the NFL, but they'd play up in Canada. And the style of football was exciting, so it was fun. So I sit and watch it, right? And I remained, and Doug Flutie was up there tearing it up and everything like that and stuff. So I remained consistently aware of the league and followed it to the best of my ability. I remember when they had the Stallions and all the teams in the States. I still say, regardless you live in the Lord's Prayer or not, they should build a stadium because it's a perfect time to play in Alaska, and Anchorage would be the intelligent place because the fan base would be very would be excited. Okay, there's no professional sports and no things like that. But if they put a team in, because it's the same size market as Regina or some of the other schools cities in Canada, so they would be able to compete. And then you just have to add in the rules that folks from Alaska could be seen as could be on the roster as locals and not imports. It'd be a perfect win-win situation for everybody as far as that. If you were doing it just when you're Lord's Prayer and United States would put 5 gorillas on the field or the court if they thought it could bring in money for the prostitution sales. They don't have any rules about, who can play, just whoever wins and how much money do you make. That's the United States. The Canadians were competing with the United States and didn't want it to become an American Football League in Canada. They wanted to have a place where their kids could be local heroes and inspire other kids to play in the CFL and be local heroes and stuff, and part of a proud tradition of the Grey Cup, the Lord Stanley Cup, stuff and things like that. So the Canadians have a little bit more, about country type pride because they're next to the United States. The United States is bigger and more powerful, and they didn't want you just become homogenized and be, just the U.S. of the North. It's an ego thing, but. You can kind of understand it, but I just remember watching it, and I've lived next to Canada for 3 years. Okay, so I understand Canada pretty well, and I've lived next to Mexico most all my life, so I understand Mexico real well. Okay. I lived in the United States my whole life. I don't understand the United States for shit. They're a bunch of fucking idiot assholes. They have a person who is born here they have the science to prove that he's the continual spirit of Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, and they treat him like shit and act like he's some kind of a circus gimmick in their genocidal operations because everybody's so much fun watching people have dysfunctional sex lives and having entertainment of mass murder on TV. That's all they have. Dateline 2020. A person is murdered. Hitler's great this. Hitler's this. Hitler's that. Nazis this. There's that. Here's the Congress. Here's this. See how they talk about money and discuss money and how we're going to use money to kill people, give them drugs, repair their bodies when they're extorted and exploited because we're not living the Lord's Prayer. I mean, it's horrible. You sit and watch it and you're like, Jesus, they're worse now than when we just had the 3 stations. They had the 7 samurai on, and I said, God, that'd be horrible to cut people up with sharp swords like that, Jesus. Jesus is like, Earl, am I there to do this for you? No, it's me. Okay, you can do it. I know I'm doing it right now. Okay. But I sat and I watched the stuff. I went to go look at the things, and it had the things for their awards. And I went to go watch. I looked at him and said, okay, yeah, that kid. I remember, he is the Jerry Grant kid. Is a good punt returner. He's a really exciting punt returner. And Brady Oliveira, yeah, I could see him winning the stuff for the most MOPs and stuff, like the most outstanding Canadian stuff. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I saw all that stuff. And I'm defensive player of the year, the defensive back for the Riders. I saw that too. He's had a really good year. And then you're sitting there, and then they have this rookie of the year. And I'm like, okay, I they haven't talked a lot on the things about, when they show the highlights, they don't talk as much. They talk more about the offensive players than they do the defensive. I said offensive because it's Canadian. Okay. Do you understand? So I'm sitting, just connecting Dwayne Ford there. Okay, guys? The offense. Okay, and the major score. But so he's sitting there, and they, I don't know who this kid is, So okay, I went to Tulane, same place that Nico Marley went to school. Okay, so he's from Mississippi. Right? So I'm sitting there and I'm listening and watching. Okay. Sounds like Jim Zorn. He does sound like Jim Zorn. Yeah, a lot. But lots of people think that. When people are competitive, and it's very competitive, and then to get through this competition, you have to attain a level of what people call successful. They think they have like Charles Barkley, they think they have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is watching them all the time and takes a vested personal interest in everything they're doing. Okay. When they're in ultra competitive environments and they feel successful and they feel like they've kept their integrity to be successful in this ultra competitive, they feel like Jesus watches everything they do and takes a personal vested interest in everything they're doing. It's like, but you're not standing up for the Lord's Prayer. Okay, why would Jesus take a personal interest in you if you're taking money for people to fight and fucking kill through entertainment on TV and you're not standing up for the Lord's Prayer with Earl in New Mexico? Wait, it's just 2 and 2 is 4. Okay, but then you get like these people. Well, I was sitting there watching, when I watched that stuff with the cartels in Mexico and watched the dysfunction of the pagan, introducing their pagan gods and goddesses to Christian religion, right? And Jesus adores the Virgin of Guadalupe and Juan Diego. Okay, he adores him. Okay, Jesus just adores Juan Diego. Okay, the man who talked to the Virgin of Guadalupe and got them to understand and understand the man, Jesus, who gives us faith in God. So he adores them. Okay, but the rest of that shit they've thrown in there, the fuck's that? I don't know. You're telling me. Basically, the bones with the bones and the things on that, the thing they have, and it's like Jesus don't. That's first Jesus ever learned about it because I watched it. Yeah, he has what the fuck is that? They're playing to this bones with Red. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know. You told me, Earl. You watching it? You're there. It's your time. Okay. And then people, no, Jesus is not God. He's not omniscient. He says it numerous times in the Bible. There's tons of evidence in the New Testament that Jesus says, what are your kids going? Where are my kids going to be on your right hand side? I can't tell you that, lady. It's just, I don't know. I'm not God. Okay. Trust me, guys. Okay. David Rockefeller and his scientists know more about your comings and goings and what you do and your tendencies and your brain activity than I do. And I'm the one person on planet Earth that has the most consistent communications with Jesus Christ because we are alike in spirit. Okay. Now, I can't tell you if Randy Ambrosi and the owners of the CFL are aware of my existence or if it's just arrogance and ignorance. I can't tell you. Okay. I can tell you that the Koch brothers know who I am, and so does Susana Martinez. Okay, so that means most likely Michelle Lujan Chrism knows who I am, and George Soros knows who I am. Okay, and the Obamas know who I am. And that means the Trumps know who I am, and the Bidens, and Miss Harris, and so I can tell you that. But as far as Randy Ambrosi and the owners for the CFL, I can't tell you. I don't know. They might not be in the inner loop. It just might be arrogance and ignorance and going, y'all know what you just said. I've been correcting the linguistics in super and quantum computing worldwide to try to save people from genocidal operations. But y'all got bad brain activity and you're addicted to it. So, and then most likely what appears to be the case after watching Kimmel last night and watching Musk and Trump do that God bless America joke thing. It's a joke. They think it's funny on TV. They think it's funny too. Musk and Trump think it's funny too. Okay. It's a genocidal operation. It's like talking people into stuff. It's like Caesar talking 5,000 people off a cliff to prove a point. It's like James Earl Jones's character on Conan, where he makes the girl jump off the building and goes, "No, that's power." Okay, brain chemical addicts think that that's power. Okay, power and the glory is the essence of the sun, the earth, and what it provides the natural laws to give us to breathe and love and reproduce and eat and care. Okay, power isn't manipulation and I feel powerful and you feel pretty and charming and gay. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So, I can't tell you. I do know that I'm correcting the technology with my thoughts, words, and actions, and that eventually the technology will assimilate to myself to protect people that are broken that cannot fix themselves. But people that are broken and know that I'm correct and refuse to fix themselves, those are the people that are most likely going to have to be exterminated by actual intelligence when artificial intelligence goes actual and factual. It's actual and that's factual, right? Okay, guys? So I love you very much. And I'm glad I watched that with the young man. What was his name? Nick Alexander? Okay. Well, Nick, you worked really hard to help your family like the other kids up there and other kids throughout the other leagues, from abject poverty and economic abuse because people don't live the Lord's Prayer. And so, you did your best, and that's something to be proud of. But once you go from ignorant to knowing the truth about me, then don't let arrogance turn you into a billionaire that tries to hide me and act like I don't exist. Okay? And I look forward to watching you play football up in Edmonton. So let's see if we can get this technology to work rapidly so tomorrow we can actually enjoy each other instead of hide in our houses afraid of people killing us over our make-believe money, right? Okay, better than the gold standard. It's the Lord standard. All right, peace.